Welcome to the Model Frontier. If you're new to this channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you don't miss a second of any of this great content. 3 billion human lives ended on August 29, 1997. The survivors of the nuclear fire called the war Judgment Day. They lived only to face a new nightmare, the war against the machines. Humanity's days were numbered, rounded up, and put into camps for disposal, and some were made to work building the machines of death that were trying to hunt the human race down. And that's what we're doing here, is we're building a model of the menacing endoskeleton of the T800 Terminator from the movie. This is being provided by Agora Models. I'm looking, and this is one that would have been done sooner had the Millennium Falcon not come back into stock. But now that we're done with the Titanic, well, now that we're getting done with the Titanic, I've gotten the first part of this new model, and so we're going to start building the Terminator. So let's get started with building the terrifying T800. So this is what you get with your kits, it looks like. No magazines come with this, so unlike other kits where we get a magazine or several magazines, this kit we don't get magazines with. We do get, though, a lot of parts, and this one will give you all the parts we need for the first 8 stages of the build. They come in these nice packages. They're all numbered and separated, so you won't worry about cross-contaminating parts. And all your instructions are on Agora's website. So this is it. This is what we get with our build here. So this pack of the build comes with the first 8 stages. So that's what we're going to start work on. So here's all the parts for our first stage of the build. Obviously, this is an iconic thing right here, which surprisingly, we're not going to be using. So we're going to set this aside. We also will not be needing this piece, so we're going to set that piece aside as well. So this is all the parts we're going to be messing with here. Now, the first things we're going to be messing with are over here. And we're going to be messing with the eye sockets and the eyes, these red pieces. All you're going to do is you're going to shove the eyepiece in kind of like that till they just sort of fit in with, I don't know if you can see that or not, but just a little bit of the nub of the red piece is left in there. They do hold themselves in, so even though they go in quite easily, no need to worry about gluing them because they will just kind of hold themselves right in just like that. Now next we're going to take our LEDs, and the way they want you to do this is with the one prong, they want the red section pointing up towards the single prong. And we just want to kind of push it in to place. Hang on. And I stand corrected. The red part, they actually want pointing downwards. So they want the red part going down towards the 2 prongs. So I'm going to get this in, and I'll meet you right back here. Just like that. Now these don't actually set in, so you will want to probably put some glue just on the outer edge to kind of glue them into place. I'm not gluing them down right now though, because I will be replacing these orbits with some extra pieces. So I'm just putting them on with some glue tack right now so we can continue on with the build. Now for the next part, we're going to want this piece. Now One thing that is a suggestion, it's not a necessity, just to bring out some detail work though, is to kind of highlight this area around here, around the eye orbits. So all we're going to do is we're going to take a chrome paint pen here and just kind of, just to add a little bit of detail to the orbits. You don't have to do this. This is one of these optional things, which if you're new to the channel, you should notice the warning label right there. That tells you that this is all an optional set. You don't have to do this. It is a modification, so again, modifications you take at your own risk. Just something like that to up to, you know, increase, and you can add some definition to it here as well. This will make the eye orbit kind of stand out a little bit. There we go. That'll make that stand out just a little bit. Now we're going to flip these to the side like that, and then we're going to put these eye things in. Now there's two grooves. I'm not sure if you'll, yeah, you should be able to see. There's grooves for this thing to sit in, and that's what we're going to do. We're just going to set them in with, which way does it go here? With the double side facing towards the top. So if we looking at it like this, or this is the top, the double-sided goes in like that. Double-sided goes up. This is very tricky to sort of set up here. And once we get those down, once we get those in, we're going to secure them down with this brace. Brace will help to hold these in place, in position. Oops. Hang on. All right, stand by. We're gonna take these out for a minute here to make our lives a little easier. Just like that. Well, not quite, because that one popped out of position. There, just like that. And then we're going to hold the brace down with two of the screws that we are supplied with in this stage. Unlike other builds, these screws are not labeled, so we're going to have to really keep track of our screws in this build. So just keep that in mind. Just like that. Now, because these are going into plastic, as I always say, you don't want to over tighten them. You just want them to go in until they kind of just bite. And then we can always just kind of put these back into place here. Again, these are just being temporarily held down because I plan to change out the eye orbits at a later time. But if you get the eye orbits that I'm going to be using, which I've linked in the description below, they're made to do the same as these, so you'll put them in just the same way. Oh, excuse me. You'll put them in just the same as I'm doing. But once you got those in, you can see that they move independent. They freely do move. So once you got your eyes in place, that is actually it for this first stage. As luck would have it, this is Model Gamer from the future. As I was waiting to edit the video here, I actually got the upgrades I ordered from Model Mod, so I can actually show you how to do these modifications as we're building the model, which is the best time to do them. So we're going to start with the eye mods. So that's those right there. Now, there are a couple of minor differences, but the big one is that, and I don't know how much you're going to be able to see, but maybe you can see it like that this one from Model Mods has a lot more detail on it than the stock one does. So it'll look better when we put it into our one piece. They also give you two different sets of inserts for the eyes, which is what we're going to take a look at. Basically, they're almost identical, except one has a clear lens, the other has a red lens. So they're just telling you to use whichever one you want. Obviously, I want to go with the red lenses. And the process is still the same. Oh, wait, no, the process is not the same. So they fit in the front. Wait, let me just double check. Hang on. Okay, so the eyes will fit in loose. And they'll fit more inside the orbit. So to prevent them from coming out, we want to put a little super glue on these. I'm just going to put a touch of glue right on the edges here. Actually, I'll put some glue into the eye socket. Just like that. And we'll drop the eye part in place. And I'm getting it kind of, so I'm kind of putting it in, but it's not going to stick out all the way. So I'm just putting it in, leaving it a little bit like that. So then we're going to do that with the other eye. Just like that. So now we got our two eyes in good position here. Now we're actually going to take the face plate here and we're just going to put them in just like the instructions would tell you to do. This is really tricky to do. Just like that, like the instructions say. Then we're going to put and just like the instructions say, we're going to put this piece on. Like that, and we're going to hold that down with the same two screws. Just like that. Now you can see how those look even much better now. I just want to check one thing.
They do recommend that you check the holes on this, because if they're too small, you could break this off. Okay, so just like, so it should go on kind of just like this. You can see that right there. That's obviously going to be how the motor moves the eyes in the sockets. So once you get that right, if you want, you could take this off, or you could leave it on. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with leaving it on, but I'm going to take it off just for now because we weren't told to put it on yet. So there you go. Now that we got that off, we can actually put our lights back in, and this time we can actually permanently fix them in. So for that, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue around the outer part of this light. Like that. Then we're going to put it back, we're going to put it into the socket with the red wire facing towards the top. Hang on. There we go. Well, that one's got to set a little bit more. While those are like that, we can actually show how these new eyes look, and I'll compare that to the old ones, which I did a little later on in the video here, or which I did earlier on in the video, or which I will show a little later on in the video. So we're going to be seeing how this eye lights up. Oh yeah, that looks much sweeter. And now we'll try the other one. Perfect. So with that done, whether you do the mod or the original, that is it for stage 1. So here go all the parts we get for stage 2 of the Terminator. We're going to be starting on his arm and some more work on the mouth. We're going to start with the jaw section first. So we're going to put all the rest of these parts aside. We're going to keep the teeth. We're going to keep this part, and we're going to keep our screws. We're going to bring back over this piece. Now we have 2 different screws in this section to be aware of. These, the 3-pack here are shorter than the rest of the screws. So they're not labeled, so just keep that in mind. So we're going to move this over, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this section and we're just going to line it up. You can see there's like a locator lug right in here. We're just going to line this up with that. Till it goes in just like that. And we're going to use the smaller of the screws to screw those into place. Just like that. You see the screws right there? That's how you want it to look. Next, we're going to take 2 of these longer screws, which also you'll notice have a flat head. Yeah, we'll want the ones with the flatter head. And there's 2 holes in the back that we're gonna secure it down with those screws. Just like that. And we want the flat screws, the flat-headed, so that they go flush with the top sections here. Next, we got the teeth to work on. Now, these teeth, I'm gonna be honest, I do plan on replacing with a set that I'm getting from, again, the site in the description below. So, while it does say to glue these down, I'm just going to kind of stick them down with some sticky tack to, just show how to do this. But keep in mind, I am going to be replacing them. So when it comes to the teeth, they are a certain order and they are numbered. So if you're looking at them like this, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to want to keep them in that order as per the instructions. So we're going to clip them off using our sprue cutters very carefully. We got a good pair of sprue cutters. We want to be as close as we can. So this is 1. That's 2. This is 3. And this is 4. So we got them where we're gonna have them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we pull the thing back here, the instructions show it's going to go in just following the line 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, like I said, I'm not gluing these down. I'm just going to tack them for now because I plan on replacing these teeth. So, if you were using these teeth and you were just going to glue them in, you would just put some glue where the contact points are, and then we're just going to stick them on in. Just like that. That's how the stock teeth look with this. So you want to get an idea here. There's your Terminator's face right there. So they're not the best teeth, and like I said, I do have another set that I'm getting from that link I sent you that I have in the description, so we'll be using those teeth. But now we're going to put this piece aside. Just like with the eyes, at this stage we have the next of my mods that I wanted to do, which are the Terminator teeth. Now, as I mentioned, the teeth we get, they don't quite look right in this model. So the people at Model Mods have a set of chompers for both the upper and lower jaws that do look good. So let me get them out of here. These are the top ones, and first of all, these are not cheap plastic. They feel like resin, and secondly, they're all one solid piece, so they should fit in nicely to the jaw the way the teeth should go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to basically chrome the gum line so it matches better with the top of the teeth. So I'll be right back after I do that for you. And there we go, just like that. If you're curious, I just use it's a chrome paint pen. It's kind of hard to show in the light, but it's just a chrome paint pen. You can find these just about anywhere. Amazon, you know, any place you really go. I don't really have a brand to go with. So now we're going to do a dry fit of these teeth to make sure that they fit in there good. And they do. So now I'm going to spread some glue on this part of the mouth. And then we're going to put the teeth in. Just like that. And I did the same thing already to the bottom jaw. So it'll look like that. So now if we put the two together, you get kind of an idea how it looks a little better now. We could even put the faceplate on temporarily. With the faceplate on, we can get a really good idea as to how this is going to look. So it kind of looks more like that. So the teeth look more realistic. And if you want, you can dirty them up, make them look a little more grimy, a little more worn in, burned, scarred, whatever you want to do. But they still look better than the teeth that you get, so I'm putting the lower jaw aside because we aren't messing with that one. Once these are done, we're going to put this piece to the side and work on a part for our arm. And we're going to start building the arm. And we got these two parts right here. They're both this one I think is, yeah, these are both plastic. Now, this section has a notch. This is important to get right. There's a notch there. You want it to match the notch in there like that. And once you got the notches matched, we're going to use two of the third set of screws in the pack to secure that in place. And the holes for it, you can see, are right down in there. So you're going to need a really thin magnetized screwdriver for this. Just like that. And with that, and that part of the face, that is it for stage 2. So this is the start of stage 3, and we want to lay everything out just like this. This is how we want everything to get set out for this part. So first we're gonna put this piece in here, like, so this piece is gonna go in to here. And this piece is gonna slide in here. Then to hold all these together, we are going to use this screw that comes with this part. And we gotta feed it all the way through all of these to latch in to the part up front. So this piece is going to be a little bit on the tricky side. I think the best thing to do would be to kind of feed. Hang on, I'm going to try something here. All right, start off by getting, so the easy thing now would be to start off by getting your screw into place, and then you feed that in like that, and then we can screw it into place on here. Want that nice and tight, just like that. So that piece is on there. Now we're going to set that aside. Because we're going to do some electrical tests. We got our battery pack here, which obviously we're going to take a screw out of to open up. And it takes 3 AAA batteries, which I happen to have right here. So we got our batteries in. We're going to put this back in place. Screw that back into place. And now we're going to actually test the electrics we've already done. So we're going to bring over a tester board, a very small tester board on this one. We're going to plug the box into it. We're going to bring over our face mask here. And we're just going to test the LEDs. So I'm going to plug an LED in here. Oh, and it was already on, but plug in the LED and then we turn on the light. Well, now it's, of course, now it popped out. Hang on. So we plug in the LED. If we turn on the light, so tough. You see that eye light up? Take that one out, so that works. Plug in the other one. And the other eye lights up. So our lights are working. So we're going to put that all aside. And again, we're going to hang on to this because I've actually looked at this build when they first did it. This is actually going to be the battery pack that we use in the actual model. So this is actually a piece that we want to hang on to. But now we're going to get to work on fingers. So I'm going to take a second to get everything set up and we'll show you what we got to do. So the first thing you're going to want to do after you lay these out is actually nothing to do with these pieces. You have 3 of these and 3 of these sheaths. You're going to want to fit them together ahead of time. This will make your life a lot easier. Now, this was a bone of contention with the original build because originally these sheaths didn't exist, and so the fingers would eventually lose the ability to grip. So this is a solution that the folks at Hachette came up with. Agora, Hachette, they're the same company, just Agora's the distributor for the US. So you gotta want to put it on all the way down onto the thing there, all three of them. Now we're gonna actually build the finger. So this is how you want it laid out. You have the tip, you have this end, you have a shorter and a longer section, and then you have the back end. Keeping everything the way it goes, the first thing we want to do is we want to take the tip and we're going to glue the fingertip into position. So I'm going to take my glue and just kind of brush it around here. Kind of like that. And once we got that glue down, we're going to press the tip on. And it is set so it can only go in one way. Make sure we push that in there nice. Just like that. Okay, now we got to go. So this first section, doesn't matter which way, but it is going to go like this. We're going to take one of these and we're going to go through the top section. So if you're thinking like this, we're going through the top. It actually might be easier to start by going through here first because it is a tight squeeze. Hang on. Hang on, stand by. There we go. Boy, that was tough because I had to use pliers to get the piece to go through, but you can see now we've got a piece that flexes. So now obviously we're going to take a cap piece and we're going to put it on there. Now they tell you to glue this down, to glue this into place. This is a case where the brush on won't work. You need to actually get your glue stick and get your glue down into the part. Now, once we got that glued in, once we got that in place, we're gonna put the second joint on, and we gotta do the same thing, but it's gotta go the opposite way. So the part with the sheath is gonna go in the top of this. If you're looking at it this way, the sheath part is gonna go on this section. And this is another tough thing. You're going to probably want to have a good pair of needle nose pliers for this because you got to push it through very carefully. So I'm going to go do that off camera real quick and get that done for you. So there we go. I got the second joint on. Now, unfortunately, I won't be able to do the third joint because the sheath that I was using for the second joint got so damaged that it will no longer work to put the sheath in. I will try the backup finger solution that would normally, could be recommended to help fix the fingers. I'm also going to write to Agora and try to get a replacement part, but suffice it to say, you would just do the same thing again, only you would go, again, the opposite direction. So your main part would go in from the top. Wait, hang on. Okay, so we went top, then bottom. And so you would flip it over. Wait. So they want you to make sure you're just alternating. So you would put the big piece with the sheath through this side. Into here. And then you would seal it with the capped end. So that's kind of what the first finger looks like. Again, mine's not going to be attaching right now because I don't have a sheath to put on. So I'll fix that when I get either the replacement joint pieces, which you don't really kind of need, but it'll come in handy, or I get a replacement sheath. So with that and this part, that is actually it for stage 3. So at stage 4, we're going to build a similar thing to what we did in stage 3. So just like before, we're going to do it the same way. We laid out our pieces. We're going to take our giant screw. We're going to put it through this section. Get it to where the screw's sticking out. It goes in here. And then we're going to screw it into place here. That in there nice and tight. So just like that, we're going to have that built. Now we're going to set that aside for now. We're going to take this part here and a rubber gasket here. We got these little screws, these little tiny screws. Again, none of these screws are labeled, so you kind of just got to use them as you get to them. So we're going to take one of the tiny screws. I'm going to load my screwdriver with it. We're going to put the cap on the end here. It can only fit one way. And then you're going to screw it down, but you're not going to over tighten it. Now we're going to take the cylinder assembly that we did in the last stage and we're going to feed this into it. Whoops, hang on, stand by. So like that, and they don't want you to over tighten it because you might have something happen like what happened to me where the gasket comes off on the inside of this. But basically it should be able to go in and out with a little bit of resistance like that and stay straight on. And we're going to set that one aside, and we're going to do the same thing to this piece, which has the forked end. So once again, we're going to use one of the small screws. Pop the gasket on the end. And we're going to put this in, not too tight. Basically like that. And then we're going to take our other joint here and we're just going to slot this into place. Just like that. So I'm going to set that aside and we're going to bring back over this joint here. We've got this black gasket here. What they want us to do is they want us to put it on here. Now there is a groove in these gaskets. I don't know if you'll be able to see it very well, but you can see there's a little curved piece. That's going to point down towards this end. So they want us to just kind of put these on. So they're kind of like that. Don't worry, they're going to get sealed in with what's coming up here. So next they want us to take this nice metallic piece. We're going to put it on this direction. And this is important. We got two different types of screws that look like this. Now we want these longer, really long ones for this section because we're working on this side and you can see that it kind of shifts upwards. So we need a longer screw for what we're about to do. Because what we're going to do is we're going to feed this through here. And then we're going to take the arm end with the fork and it's going to fit right in here. Just like that. And then on the other side, we're going to take the pack with the shorter of those screws and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to feed this through here. And then the other arm assembly is going to go on like that. Okay, this is going to be very tricky. And the shoulder, this part here, they actually want us to feed into here. It actually might be easier to just kind of feed it, to do it this way, they say. We want to feed that into here. Hold on, this is a very tricky part here. So it's going to be just like that. So one hint that was given that probably makes a lot of sense to do is to help you with these screws, because gravity is not your friend on this part, is to just put some tape into the holes where the screws are until we're ready to actually seal this thing up. So once we got that in place, we're going to take the arm section, this section here, and we're going to put it into this, just like that. And then we're going to take our other end of the arm and we're going to kind of cap everything off. So everything should just kind of fit together. Hang on, stand by. We're going to line everything up. We're going to secure this down on here. So what I want to do is kind of get the screws started. Those nice and tight in there. Hang on, I'm going to take this off to the side, get those nice and tight in, and I'll be right back with it all screwed together. And there we go, just like that. So with that, and our gaskets are still moving in and out just fine. So with that done, that is actually the end of stage 4. Man, you can feel the weight on this piece alone. This Terminator is definitely going to be a beastie boy. So we're moving right along with this stage with this next stage of the build. We're going to start working on the neck support. First thing we're going to need though is this section here, which is just a ball joint that's going to get put together, and then it's going to get held together with the silver screws that come in this pack. Now we got that nice tight. We're going to set that aside. We're going to bring over this big section, and got a few pieces we're going to add to it. So first we're going to put this gasket here in. We're going to drop in the neck joint. So it's going to be like that. So like that. We're going to cap it with this cap. And then all that gets capped with another cap that gets put in place with 3 of the black screws that you get in this pack, in this stage. Just like that. And this part should now be able to move, but have some resistance to it. Just like that. And actually, with that done, that's it for stage 5. So here with stage 5, we're scheduled to do more teeth on the lower jaw. Since I'm going to be using different teeth, I'm just going to skip this part of it. But again, they are numbered. If you're looking at it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you put them in, it's front 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way around. So just to give you an idea of what that looks like, it'll look like that. And they actually do recommend in the instructions doing the set number 3 last. So if we brought the top teeth over, you can see kind of why it looks so, why I'm using a second set of teeth. Now we're going to set that aside because we got this piece that requires a nose piece to go in. It's doing a dry fit. There's a couple of pegs. And it's going to fit in there just like that. So now on the pegs, we're going to want to put a little bit of glue. Once we got the glue on that, we're just going to put that in place. Just like that. And with that set in place and your bottom teeth in your jaw, that is actually it for stage 5. So here's all our parts for stage 7. Now, the first thing we're going to need actually was accidentally in this part. So the first thing we need is actually this piece, which was, as you saw, in the one part. And we're going to set it in, and we're just going to dry fit it into place here. Just like that. So we got to glue this down into place just with some glue on the pegs. That. Now we're just going to glue it into place. Then we gotta bring the arm we've been working on over, and we can see the pegs, which are gonna hold this in place. Hang on a second. Sorry, I had to turn it a little bit. So we're gonna put this in here. And there's pegs that'll hold that in place, just like that. And we're gonna have to glue this into position. Once we're satisfied with how it looks fit-wise, we're gonna glue this. We're gonna put glue on the peg points, and then we're gonna glue it in and around this lip. Then we're going to glue it into position. Just like that. Now we're going to set that aside and these parts. We're going to bring this piece over with this. That's going to go on here, and it's going to get held in place with a pair of these screws that we get in this pack. Just like that. Now we're going to set that aside and bring over this assembly here. And we want the screw holes on this side to be towards our left. And on this piece, this end's going to be pointing downwards. And that's going to get held in place with 2 more of the screws we get in this pack. So what might help is going into this first. Kind of getting the, what may help is kind of getting the screws through this part first. Oh, nope. I'm going the wrong way here. Hang on. So where we're actually going is the screws are going to go this direction. Let's get it started into that one first. So we'll just get it started there, and then we'll get the other screw in, and then we'll tighten it all up. There we go. Now with that done, that is it for this stage. This next stage, we're going to be building another finger. Actually, I think it's the thumb. And we're going to start off by gluing the tip to the tip. Just like that. Now we got 2 different sizes of these sheaths, and 2 different sizes of the joints. So obviously you're going to want the short sheath to match the short joint. So we're going to get that in place. Once we got that in place, we're gonna feed it through here. And this part is very tight and difficult to do. So it should look something like that. That is very hard to do. I actually end up using pliers to do it. Now, these two sections are the same size, so it doesn't matter which end you use. We just got to get it in there. And then we got to put a cap piece in, just like we've done. Just like that. Now we're going to take the now we got to take the other short sections. Remember, you got to check them. And now we're going in from the opposite direction. We're going to go in from this side. So if you're holding it like this, you're going to go in the top. Nope. Scratch that. The opposite direction would be you come on the next piece, you're going to go in from this end. So we want to get it in there. Use my table to kind of help push stuff in. And then we're going to go into the other end. See, this is why it's so tough, because you got to get it tight in there. Oop, hang on. Hang on now, let me get the cap ready. There we go. After a lot of work to get that piece in, the thumb is done. You can see it's stiff, but flexible at the same time. So the big thing we're going to be focusing in on here is this bottom piece, where you'll see we have a hole and we have a locating lug right here. We're going to want to bring over the hand section, and as this is our thumb, on this piece here, you'll see we got the locating lug here, and the screw hole is going to be right here for that. So we're going to put our locating lug in place. And then we're going to secure it down with one of the screws that we get for this part. Actually, what might be easier is to take note of the hole, put your screw in it, start screwing it into the thumb. And once you got it started and you got some play, kind of guide locating lug into position and screw it home. There you go. Just like that. Now, normally I would be putting the other finger on, but as I have that problem with the sheath, I can't do that now. I will, but basically we would be putting this piece on. Now keep in mind there is a tab on this piece that has to face the top of the hand. So what would happen is you would feed your sheath through, and if you had the whole finger on, you would just put that piece in place. And just like we did with the rest of the joints, we would just put a cap piece with some glue right in there. Just like that. And then that would technically have the whole finger on here. And that would be the end of stage 8. So by the end of this, you'll have the face with the eyes and the teeth in, whichever teeth you're going to use. A face plate that we don't have any use for right now, but it has the nose piece. But we can see how it would sort of look. The bottom jaw with the teeth in place. The cradle for the head and neck. The right hand. We have 2 pieces that we'll be using for motors. And last but certainly not least, we have this giant section of this giant part of the build. This is the upper arm section, which will come into play much later as we build the rest of the arm. So with that all out of the way, that is absolutely it for the first pack of this build of the T800 Terminator. So that's it for this first part of the build. We've gotten quite a lot done, and as you can tell, we're going to be doing a lot of stages in each section of this build. Now this is going to be a little different because we don't get any free gifts and we don't get any magazines with this build. Everything's done digitally, so you're going to have to follow the instructions either in this video or you're going to have to follow the instructions off of Agora's website. But like I said, because we're going to be getting so many stages in each pack, this model is going to come together really quick. So as amazing as what we did already is, along with the minor upgrades I included, just can't wait to see what we get next time on the Model Frontier.